Greetings, Inquisitor. Thank you for joining the Holocron. This is the week 79 update for the Darth Loquitur account. I update this account's progress every week. This week we got a big update, major character coming into the account, and we'll go through all of that. We'll see what happened, and we'll also spend some time talking about future plans, including what teams I'm planning to set up for 3v3, how I'm going to set up my defenses, and maybe that can help some people, or if some other people might look at the account and have better ideas on what teams I should put together. If you think you have a better idea for some of my teams, drop it in the comment down below. I'll take a look at it, and of course the community can share and learn from all that, so let me know if you have suggestions. With that in mind, let's get in here and see what happened in the account this week. All right, so you have to look at two of me for a minute. We got General Kenobi unlocked as a character. Of course, we have a long way to go to get his ult yet. But in the GAC stream last week, I was able to get Kenobi unlocked on stream. And we just needed a couple pieces, and we got him to Relic 8 here. And then we put all 6 of the Zetas onto him. And then for mods, what we did is we just swapped out his mod. We gave him Shaak Ti's mods. She had pretty good mods, so we put Shaak Ti's mods on him. 123,000 health, 558 on speed. The damage isn't that impressive, but we really just built him for speed and health. And that gets Kenobi going. We put some mods back onto Shaak Ti. They're okay. We still got her at 300 speed, so it's not fantastic, but still kept her in that 300 range for the stuff that we want to do. The first upgrade, we need to get this Ahsoka Tano to gear 12. She'll be our next relic project after Cat. So we go ahead and get her to gear 12. We got one piece we can lock in, and then we're still waiting on some pieces for Cat. Taking a look at Dark Trooper here, thinking about advancing him, but we do need Cairo shock prods. If I use those, it will be the same shock prods that I need to relic Cat. So we're going to take a pass on that and wait to level him up at some point in the future. Han doesn't take Kairos, so we go ahead, get him a couple upgrades, get him to gear 10. Now he's waiting on stun guns, so we'll just wait on him. He's a good character for 3v3, so we went ahead and invested a little in that. We're going to go ahead and go to gear 8 on Talon. And then we're going to start working on promotions. We're going to do the 7-star promotion for Droideka. We'll do the 6-star promotion for 3PO and Chewie. Droideka, we're farming a ship off his same node. I think the Xanadu Blood comes off that node as well. There we put a star on Range Trooper. And now down here at the bottom, we're going to get the 7th star on Finn. Remember, we want that Finn Poe team. That's a nice 3v3 team. I haven't even started it on this account yet, but it's definitely something I want to work on. Get the 6th star onto Kylo. We'll get the 7th star on, I think that was the 6th star on First Order Officer. I'm a Gundai. We have a bunch of extra shards on him, so we're going to take him to 7 stars just to free up the extra shards to go to the shard shop. And the same thing with Luminara Unduli. She also has a bunch of extra shards for us. So we go ahead, take her to 7 stars, let the overflow hit the shard shop. There's a couple other characters here that have extra shards, but it's not so much that I really want to spend. It's almost 2 million to get a character all the way to 7 stars, so we'll pass on that. Now we're going to start the Finn Poe team. If it's going to be 3v3 season, we got to get these guys going. Put the skills on them, then we'll add some mods to them. Resistance Hero Finn, we just want to be as fast as we reasonably can make him. Resistance Hero Poe also needs to be fast, but we're going to put a little bit of damage on him as well, some damage dealing stats. And then for Finn, we're just going to try to make him a little bit tanky. We're going to use defense sets and a potency set. It's just leftover mods to get him started. The 2 heroes are obviously the core of that team. I'm going to put a little more investment into Xanadu Blood. Again, we're going to get Executor as our next big journey after Kenobi, so we're definitely going to want this ship maxed out, so we'll keep investing in these bounty hunter ships over time. Then we want to check down here for the other rebel ships. We built Biggs, then we built Wedge. This week we're going to build the Phantom. That still leaves us with the Ghost to build, and then after that we should have the beginnings of a rebel fleet. So we'll go ahead and get this to level 85. Now I did forget that we need Sabine as well, and we haven't done anything with Sabine. So we'll probably have to, I don't know if we're going to invest anything at all in this ship or not. This is a ship that, you know, it does serve pretty well as a reinforcement. If you get the reinforceability up to level 3, it lets you reinforce 2 ships back to back. So it can be a really appealing ship to reinforce in the Rebel fleet and allows you to reinforce again. So we're eventually going to build that ship. I don't know if we're going to build the Ghost up that much or not, but yeah, if we need it for a cargo ship anyway, and we've got the characters, we might as well put a few skills onto it. And like I said, if we use it in the Rebel fleet, we'll want to be able to do the double reinforce. All right, so as of week 79, 3.5 million plus 100K, taking Kenobi all the way up to Relic 8 was a lot of galactic power, putting 6 Zetas on him. And we also put the last Zeta onto Commander Ahsoka Tano. We had 2 on her. So we did put the 3rd Zeta on her for a total of plus 7 Zetas this week. We had them stored up. We were ready for this. We wanted to make sure we had the 6 for Kenobi. We did get enough to put the extra one on Cat, so all 140 Zeta materials that were in the bank went on to characters. Good stuff, though. It's what we wanted. And I like that this account keeps up on Zetas. So I have the character Zetas that I wanted. I don't have extra Zetas sitting around in the bank account, but I do feel like I'm in good shape there. In Squad Arena, we put together a team with JMK, of course, no alt, but we're getting top 100 over there. In Fleet Arena, our negotiator's still getting top 5. And the project is to relic Cat for next week. So week 80. The energy plan is pretty much the same. We're just farming the light side nodes for this stuff. So whichever of our energy plan is on the light side. So I think it's IG 2000, IG 11. I know we're doing IG 11, IG 88. His ship. So we're doing Iden Versio with the Vulture Droid. So we're doing 4 hard nodes right now. But we're farming all light side in order to support that Kenobi ultimate ability. And it'll probably take us a couple more weeks to get that unlocked. But we'll keep farming light side only until we get that done. In Fleet, we're farming Karth, and we're also farming that Fortress. I don't know if we're going to use that Fortress, but we're pretty much done with fleet farms for the things that we need. So there's a few other things in there to farm, but I feel like the most likely things that I should be farming out of there are the new tanks and Karth and Assi. So we're going to hit those up out of fleet. Cantina, we're working on signal data. We will have to find some time pretty soon to work Chief Chirpa in there. I do want to get C-3PO on this account at some point. And that'll free us up to circle around for gas when we're ready. The refresh strategy is the same. The Squad Arena store, the Fleet store, it's all pretty much the same thing we've been doing. The JMK team, we got JMK to our Relic 8. That's nice. We have to relic Commander Ahsoka Tano and also Ahsoka Tano herself. So those will be the next 2 relics. I also want to put more relic levels on Mace, Relic 5 at least. But I may take Mace all the way up to Relic 7. I really have a lot of respect for that rework. The way that character works now, having 2 tanks in that Kenobi squad, seems to make it a lot more challenging for certain comps to defeat. And Mace really isn't needed somewhere else. And maybe even that will allow me to take Kenobi out of the team. And we may do something a little different there. We may try to have 2 tanks in the team who are not Kenobi. I may build the Jedi Guardian. It's an incredibly slow character, and there's this a bit of a gimmick. You can give damage immunity to that character, and because it's so slow, the damage immunity really lasts for a long time. And if they get stuck on the taunt, then it could be a problem for certain team comps. So that's an option I'm looking into, but then I would have Mace as well in the team. So thinking about the future, trying to free that Kenobi back up because he can be used in Padme and a lot of other things. In terms of 3v3, to start the analysis, the bottom zone, they're worth far more than the top zones. So we're going to use Jedi Master Kenobi, and we're going to try to block the bottom front zone with Kenobi. Pretty much unless the opponent has a Kenobi or maybe an SLKR or something like that, he's pretty hard to get through. So we should be able to stump most opponents by putting that on defense, especially if I can get that cat to a pretty high relic level. We're going to put good defenses in the top front, and we're going to force our opponents to play there, and we're not going to give any free banners away. That's the idea. We want to, if you put a lot of weak teams and you say, okay, well, I'm going to hold with Kenobi, then I'll just put weak teams everywhere. You risk that the opponent can out-efficient you. He can beat all your weak teams for better banners than you can beat his teams. So especially against bigger accounts, we have to go pretty heavy on defense and make sure that they don't get anything for free. And then I will put weaker fleets on defense, and I'll put trash characters behind Jedi Master Kenobi to keep as much as possible on offense. Again, my account is stretched very thin at Erodium going into 3v3. Let's go into the account and take a look, and we'll demonstrate what teams we have built. So here's my idea 3v3 for the Kenobi is just to put the two Kenobis and Commander Ahsoka Tano in the team together. Kenobi should almost always give Ahsoka Tano the ability reset, which means within a very short period of time, however fast I can get Commander Ahsoka Tano going, on her turn she'll annihilate one of the enemy team. And pretty much unless they bring in something like SLKR with Daka and Zombie, where it's a character that automatically resurrects. You can do something similar with Dash Rendar and L3, but those teams are going to struggle to beat this team anyway. But the idea will be to get Ahsoka to immediately cut it down to a 3v2, and that's going to be hard for most opponents to deal with, especially with Kenobi being a tank and all of the recovery that Jedi Master Kenobi gives. It's better with the alt, of course, but for now we have to start with it this way. That'll free up Sith Eternal Emperor. I think a lot of times he's going to be on offense. There may be some times where I want to put him on defense, either double up that bottom zone to make sure it can't be taken, or maybe even put Sith Eternal top front and block ships that way and really make my opponent work for it. We'll have to play around with some different strategies. But as an offensive team, we can do C with the Royal Guard and Watt and just reserve those characters and use whatever's needed on offense. For Darth Vader, I've got him and Grand Moff Tarkin and Krennic all saved in a team together. I don't know that that's the exact team that we're going to use, but that'll be saved for offense. We'll have those characters somewhere to use. For the troopers, we've got Rex, 5, and Echo. With this clone bomb idea for the 5 sacrifice, if you put Shakti in the lead, you can put like 5s and Rex. But then if there's a sacrifice, you only get 1 clone boosted by 5s. And with how weak my characters are, that's a very easy team to clean up. So at least with 3 clones, it gives it a little more synergy, makes it a little worse if they trigger the sacrifice. Probably an offensive team, but it's available for defense if I need it. Qui-Gon, here we've got the Qui-Gon with Mace Windu and Jedi Knight Anakin. That is going to primarily be on defense. Mace will get in the way. Jedi Knight Anakin is a threat. Qui-Gon is a threat. This team feels pretty good for 3v3. I think the opponent will have to bring in something pretty solid to beat it. And again, I don't care if it loses. I just want the opponent to have to use some of their best characters against it. That's the whole point. Jedi Knight Revan, this team of Revan, Bindo, and Yoda has been around forever. Maybe an offensive team, probably for the most part use it on offense. Grievous, we've got Grievous the Magna Guard. I put in the Battle Droid here. It's not a very strong comp this way. You pretty much want the B1, B2 if you can get it. But my B2 is very weak and my Magna Guard is actually relic level. So this is about the strongest version of the team that I can put together right now. And as a 3v3, it'll be on defense. Zam with the bounty hunters here. We've got Cad Bane relic that he can hit pretty hard under Zam. She's only gear 12, so she's not getting them fantastic stats. So we just put it in a team with Bosk, Cad, and Zam, and it's not that great of a team. But out of the bounty hunters I have, it puts up a pretty decent threat. I do have, a high relic Django, and would probably prefer to put him in, but I need him for a different team. Dooku, we'll put Dooku floating on his own. Remember, we've got the Wat Tambor on offense. We'll have Dooku on offense. If we want Wat with Dooku, we can put that. With the Geos, I split them out this way, putting Poggle, the spy, and soldier together. Again, not a very high synergy team. The Poggle lead is not nearly as good as the Brood Alpha lead, but in order to make more teams and to have more threats, we put this in this way. Separatist allies have 30% offense, so that gives Spy even more offense. So it's kind of a one-shot team. Opponents will find this pretty easy to beat. The hope is that this Spy goes off and kills something right away so that we at least don't give them very good banners. We've got Enfys Nest team here. As always, it's strange. You'd think Nest would be even better in 3v3, but she's actually slightly worse in 3v3. The times when Enfys Nest is at risk is when she takes her turn, and then the opponent attacks back with their next attack. She's vulnerable. And in 3v3, there's actually more opportunities for the opponent to attack her. So it's she's not quite as good, but there's a lot of teams that she can beat, including Padme variations and things like that. With Iden, I made a big commitment to Iden, putting Snowtrooper and Stark with her. And the idea is we're going to use this as a defense. It's going to go first. These two characters together hit really hard with Iden. I feel like this is really a premium defense team, and the opponent's going to have to come up with something pretty solid to beat it. If they don't have an Omicron Wampa, I think this is going to be it's going to be a trouble for a lot of opponents. So I think that's a pretty good team for defense. Make them. Remember, guys, I've said this before. Sometimes when you have a team that's good and you look at it and you go, that could beat a lot of stuff. I'm not exactly sure where I would use it on offense, but I know it can beat a lot of stuff. Sometimes it's better to put it on defense and let your opponent sort it out. And if they can't, then you can win 2 or 3 battles, whereas on offense, you could only win 1. With the troopers, we'll put Veers, Piet, and Dark Trooper. And again, the Dark Trooper's still coming up on gear, but Piet can actually link Veers for more damage, and Dark Trooper can just do his thing. Or I can link Dark Trooper and use him as a tank since he has to die 4 times. So there's some opportunities there, but it allows me to divide up my troopers. We've got this Mando team going now because we've got Bo-Katan anyway. We put Django in there. We put the Armorer in here. Sometimes we'll want to take the Armorer with C, so I don't know if this is going to be a defensive team or an offensive team. I'm going to start out with it on defense. If it doesn't get any holds or it doesn't look like it's doing very well, then I'll probably put Django into the Zam team for offense or for defense and save some of this stuff for offense and just try to make it work. This Padme team, I called it Surprise. I don't think this is a secret. There's this little gimmick where if you have the Zeta on Moff Gideon, he gives support allies 100% protection up. So if we can get the Zeta onto him before we lock in for the Grand Arena in 3v3, there's this neat little trick where you can go in against a slower team. Gideon can drain their turn meter and give 100% protection up to both of these characters. They won't lose turn meter because of Padme, and then you'll have both of these characters with 4 instances of 20 stacks of courage, 4 instances of % health damage ready to go. And for any character that has more health than they have protection, you can pretty much kill 2 characters back to back. And, against some teams with high health or teams that convert health or something like that, then this is a pretty nasty little gimmick. And then, of course, you do still have to, figure out how to pull out the win against whoever's left over. But it's a gimmick team. I really can't find a good home for Padme elsewhere, so we'll make a gimmick team out of her. The Newt team, here we put the other Geos, the Brood Alpha, Sunfac, and then Newt Gunray. We put Newt in over here. Maybe in the end it would be better to swap Newt into the lead and put Brood Alpha out here. So we'll see if this gets any holds. It's better, of course, if these characters are higher level. But again, this is a team that the opponent might underestimate and lose against. The Marauder team, same concept as when I put it in 5v5, right? So we're going to do Nihilus, convert all of his protection to health. We're going to do Talon to boost up his health and offense. And then the Marauder is just going to have tons of lifesteal and be very hard to kill. If he's hard to kill in 5v5, he's going to be even harder to kill in 3v3 because the opponent, of course, has 2 less characters to deal damage to him. So we're hoping that becomes a little timeout team for us. It's not hard to beat. Even if you find it hard to beat, you come in your first time, you kill these 2 characters. If he's the only character that's left when you come in the second time, he's super easy to beat. So if it gets a hold here and there, that's good. I don't think it'll get 2 holds, but maybe 1. Mara Jade team with Palpatine, Thrawn, and Mara Jade. Again, we've had the Vader up top with some of those characters. We've got Palpatine down here with Thrawn and Mara. All of that's going to be on offense. We can mix and match as we see fit for depending on what the opponent has. We put Mon Mothma together with Cassian and Jyn. It makes this team really not that great. But what we're looking to do with that, again, we're probably just going to try to use this against teams that are debuff heavy. I probably should rearrange Jyn to have her for tenacity. I don't have her set up for tenacity. But we'll make this just a little team that it's for cleanup on the back wall and things like that. We'll take it on offense. Clone team here, just leftover clones, stuff that got relic from JMK. A Sith team, just Maul, Sidious, and then I threw in Kylo Ren unmasked in here. Bastila, we split Shakti out from the clones, put it with Bastila and Hermit Yoda. Again, it's trying to make a team that has a relic in it. And, if Hermit Yoda gives her the Grandmaster's training, and this team just has a lot of health and recovery, and Shakti can do some things. So, again, maybe a defensive team, maybe on offense, but just a single relic team to give the opponent some problems. Scoundrels, Vandor, Chewbacca with Han and Chewie. There's no leader in this team, which makes it pretty weak. But in this team, you do have to kill this Vandor first. Otherwise, if you try to kill one of the other guys, of course, Vandor's going to bring them back to life. That can be pretty annoying. Again, it's the kind of team where it's not hard to beat, but the opponent has to bring in something good to beat it. If they try to bring in something else that's 50,000 galactic power and try to beat it at the same level, it's going to be very hard for them to get through it. We've got a Queel team here, just Queel, IG, and then Stormtrooper Han in the lead. Queel will share his stats with the other 2. Again, not a great team, but just taking up space. Traya with some of the other Sith. Basically for offense, take out a weak Mon Mothma team or something like that. Or we can use Traya with Nest if there's a full Relic Geo team. It'll be on offense, so we'll have some flexibility. The Phoenix, we just put Hera, Ezra, and Chopper together. Then we have this Akbar team. We've got 3PO and Chewie. They're a good character, but they really don't fit in somewhere else. We could put them in potentially with Han and Chewbacca, but since these guys are so low gear, what's being shared out is pretty weak. So we put together this team with Akbar. They'll share at least stats off of a Gear 12 character. And then we've got some Night Sisters down here. And these Night Sisters are just barely started on this account. You can see level 72, level 80. We've put some resources into them, but they're not in good shape. They're really, kind of bottom of the barrel squad. So that's kind of the layout of all of the teams, and that uses up pretty much all of the characters that I have to use. So on defense, the way I set it up, let's go to the 3v3 defense. Kenobi isn't registered for this GAC, and it won't let me replace it yet. But this will be the Kenobi team with Kenobi, Cat, and JMK. We've got the Bounty Hunter team here, the Timeout team, the Sith team, and again, all of these not hard to beat, but it takes something to beat them. And then up top, we put the harder teams. So here we got the Qui-Gon team, the Iden Versio team, the Mandalorian team under Bo-Katan, and then General Grievous. So the hope is, if they look down to the bottom and say, okay, I can't beat Kenobi, so I'll just go up top. Then they have to fight 4 of the best defenses that I can put together, that I'm willing to commit to defense in order to get to ships. Then on the back wall, we've just got some various Geo stuff. We put the Geos with the Spy, the Geos with Newt, the Queel team, the Night Sister team, and Phoenix. And again, the back wall's not for free, right? We want to have at least a couple teams back here that are challenging. So these 2 Separatist teams are challenging. These 3 other teams really aren't. But, it gives us a back wall presence if somebody does get through Kenobi without using up anything that we want somewhere else. On fleets, we put we split out the Galactic Republic into this fleet, and it's got 3 good starting ships and then pretty much garbage reinforcements. And then the Empire fleet has 2 good starting ships. The Imperial TIE Fighter is still pretty weak, and then we've just got a couple weak reinforcements here. So not great fleets, just kind of taking up space. But basically, we're going to give away the top. Now, if we look at points, it's 232 to conquer this zone. It's only 186 to conquer fleets, right? 232 for this zone, again, in the bottom. And then this back zone is 260. So if we can protect these bottom 2 zones, then the top 2 zones are much lower points. If we end up fighting 2 zones against 2 zones, they do the same thing on their side. A lot of people will put all of their heavy defenses down in bottom front. And if they don't do that, then I should be able to work my way through bottom front. If they do it, then we just got to be more efficient getting through to fleets. And by putting the harder teams that I have up top, it reduces the chance that they'll be able to get to my fleet efficiently. So that's the starting plan for the defenses for 3v3. And again, like I said, guys, if you have comments on that, if you feel like you got better ideas, or if my structuring is misguided, let me know. I'm always happy for comments and to hear what teams you got and ways to make it better. All right, so we did a team restructuring about 8 weeks ago. We started to build up a whole crew of extra teams to get to help us hold on to Erodium, and we've been building those. Those Night Sisters are a bit of the work that we're doing. We're trying to get the Fin Poe team up and running, and this week we made the initial investment in them. So over the course of the 3v3, I will continue to work on the Fin Poe team. Remember, I want them for 5v5 anyway, so it's no problem for me. I'll continue to invest in the primary relic characters first. The second string behind that is everything for Executor. So getting the Mandalorian Beskar Armor Mando characters up and running, getting the Bounty Hunters, the TIE Fighter pilot, the requirements for the journey. And then we have to take Piet to Relic 8 as well, so we have to start working on getting his relic levels up. So that's how I'm going to prioritize. The first tier will be relicking those characters for JMK, and then moving on to characters for the Executor journey. Second tier will be the BAM characters and getting all that set up. And then the third tier will be working on Fin, Poe, and the other teams that are part of that restructure. We're also going to continue to build those Rebel ships. I'm spending all of my ship credits every week building one ship. So next week we'll build the Ghost and get that up and running. And then start to solidify those ships and finish them out the best we can. We'll have to get Sabine Wren up and running to make that Phantom just a little bit better. And then eventually the goal is, remember, we got to get that Rebel fleet up and running. And then we have to get the Executor fleet up and running. And then that'll flush us out towards 6 fleets. That's going to wrap up the account discussion for this week. I hope you all enjoyed that. And again, like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff that we always talk about. And join us over on Discord. It's such a great community. There's so many cool people over on the Loquitur Discord talking about the game, talking about life, other stuff, whatever. It's a lot of fun. The link is in the description down below. Come over and be part of our community. There's an Ask Loquitur channel over there for anyone who's not aware. I pay attention to that channel, so pretty much if you put in a question into Ask Loquitur, I'll try to get back and help you with your specific questions. So that's, I think, fun for the group and fun for the Discord. All right, thank you all for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. Hope you're having a whole bunch of fun in the game, and I will see you in the next Holocron.